All right, everyone. Today we've got a fun one. We are doing a fantasy value debate. We've got Mr. Zach Cole over here debating whether Kareem Hunt will be the better value in the Cleveland Browns backfield.
It's
We've got
obvious.
Michael Del Corso down here debating that Nicholas Chubb will be the guy in that backfield to own and have the better value this season. I will open the floor with good luck. You're up, Zach.
All right. So first off, let me just say this is going to be a very easy argument to make. I'm going to kind of argue the point that Kareem Hunt is going to eat into Nick Chubb's workload. And let me start off by giving you guys a little history lesson on Kareem Hunt. So way back in 2017, back when we were all living our best lives in a non-COVID world at college, Kareem Hunt was thrust into the starting role for the Kansas City Chiefs, which is kind of crazy to think about. Had Hunt's life not panned out the way that it did, he could still be on the Chiefs, and then it would just be even more insane than they already are. But we won't go there. So regardless, in 2017, Kareem Hunt finished as the running back 4, and that was with 1,327 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns, 53 receptions, and 3 receiving touchdowns. So that's a pretty solid season, especially given he is a very good runner. In that 2017 season, the Kansas City Chiefs had the 16th best offensive line. So that's not great. It's not terrible. It's pretty middle of the road, and I think that if there's any measure to tell whether he's a good running back or not, I would say that that's probably it. So being the 16th running back, or having the 16th best line and being the RB4, that's pretty impressive. And then let's take a look at 2018. That was the year that he did some bad things and ended up getting suspended. He only played 11 games that year, and in those 11 games, he was pretty productive. But I took it a step farther for you guys, just so I can prove how valuable this guy is. I extrapolated his numbers out to a full season. So in a full 16-game season, he would have finished with 1,200 rushing yards. It was 1,199 and change, so I just rounded. 10 rushing touchdowns. Pretty solid. But the crazy part is when he was suspended, he was at, he had, sorry about that. He had 26 receptions and he had 7 touchdowns. That's absolutely unheard of. That's over a 33%, I think it's a little under a 30% touchdown per reception ratio, whatever I'm trying to say there. So he was catching the ball at a ridiculous rate. So if you go ahead and you account that out to a full season, that puts him at 38 receptions and 10 touchdowns. So 10 touchdowns on the ground, 10 touchdowns through the air. This guy is insanely productive as a receiver. And in that season, it would have placed him as the RB5 behind Saquon, McCaffrey, Gurley, and Alvin Kamara. 5 great pass catchers. So I think that that's where my real argument lies, is that Kareem Hunt is an incredible pass catcher. Not only is he a solid runner out of the backfield, but he is also a very, very good pass catcher, which is where Nick Chubb lacks. Nick Chubb cannot catch the ball. Last year, Kyle, I'm going to put you on the spot. I want you to take the best educated guess you can. How many receiving touchdowns did Nick Chubb have? I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with hero.
Only when you narrow down the options there, I think I'll go with 0.
He had 0. All right. He is a one dynamic player. I'm not saying he's a bad runner. He is a far above average runner, but he can't catch the ball. He cannot catch the ball. And you know who can? Kareem Hunt. So Kareem Hunt, it only makes sense for him to be on the field more. And that kind of brings me into my next point, is that Kareem Hunt already has the praise of his coaches that he is going to play in the slot. So not only is he going to be a running back and eat into Nick Chubb's workload in the backfield, he's also going to be their slot receiver. So that already opens him up to the opportunity of even more targets. My last point, and then I'm out of here. But Kareem Hunt is extremely, extremely consistent as well. He finished, let me see, he finished as an RB2 in his 8 games in 2018. Kareem Hunt finished as an RB2 63% of the time. That was this past season in 2019. He finished as an RB2 63% of the time. So that means that there were only 3 games when he was worse than an RB2 and he wasn't startable in fantasy. That means that in 5 games he was better than 24th ranked. And in his whole career, in his 3-year career as an NFL running back, he finished as an RB1 or an RB2 in 69% of the games that he played. So he is extremely consistent and he is extremely, extremely high-end oriented. He's not going to be one of those guys that's going to give you low weeks and give you high weeks. He's going to be, that solid 15 points, 10 points a game. That's going to be good to be an RB1 or RB2. On top of that, he also scores the ball in the end zone. Mike, I'm going to air you out a little bit here. Nick Chubb inside the 10 had 32 rush attempts. These are the most meaningful attempts for a running back. Inside the 10, he had 32 attempts and scored 4 times. On the other hand, that's, I think, a 12.5% rate that he scored at. On the other hand, Kareem Hunt had 2 attempts inside the 10 and scored 2 times. That's a 100% success rate inside the 10 for Kareem Hunt. So not only is he going to be a better pass catcher, more consistent, and possibly have higher upside, he is also better inside the end zone. I rest my case.
All right, that was pretty tempting. I'm not gonna lie. I'll hand this one over to Mike.
All right, so some good points there. Can't really argue with the stats. I mean, listen, Hunt's a proven back. He's a freak athlete. Any system he goes in, he's either going to be used in some way or another, but he's going to get the PPR value. So I understand that. But my side of the argument here is that Nick Chubb will not be affected by Kareem Hunt playing 16 games this year. I want to start it off with one stat, going back to the 10-yard line stats that you brought up from the 10-yard line in. Kyle, if I'm wrong here, correct me, but I believe Nick Chubb had 15 attempts at a 17, or the max was 17 attempts on the year. But Nick Chubb had 15 attempts within the 10-yard line, or is that the red zone? Just to clarify, I don't want to be wrong here. I think it was
total or
total within the red zone, or was it within the 10-yard line? That
within the 5-yard
line had 15 attempts for negative 14 yards and only 2 touchdowns last year, which was terrible things. And I remember watching those Browns games where the Browns, I believe in one game, ran the ball 4 times in a row on all 4 downs and could not punch it in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want to start it out with there. I don't think that Kareem, even though he was 2 for 2, will dig into a lot of the goal line reps that Nick Chubb is going to be getting. So I expect positive touchdown regression for Nick Chubb in 2020 on the goal line. So that's my first point. My second point is solely based on the coach of the Cleveland Browns this year, or the OC, which is Kevin Stefanski. I believe I pronounced that right. Now, Kevin Stefanski, if you didn't know, was the OC for the Minnesota Vikings in 2018, and his resume 2019, correction, and he came up and gave Dalvin Cook 250 rushing attempts, 1,100 yards, 13 touchdowns, and he averaged 4.5 yards a carry. So Kevin Stefanski loves his number one guy. He loves a one-back system. He loves that workhorse back, and that literally is Nick Chubb. Now, I don't know where Kareem Hunt is going to come into the rushing game. In 2019, Kareem Hunt, in the 8 games that he played, I believe, averaged 5.3 carries a game, something like that. So I expect that to go down a little bit, and I have seen the report saying that Kareem Hunt will be used in the slot a lot, and that definitely raises his value. Any running back that has hands like Kareem Hunt will be used, so I 100% believe that. But Kevin Stefanski is a guy that has proven and has played over the years with literally one running back in his system, and I believe that the focal point is going to be Nick Chubb this year. This leads me to my third point and my final point here, the salary cap. Now, the Browns in 2020 have the second highest salary cap out of any team, which means they have the second most money to spend, basically. Nick Chubb is a free agent in 2022, I believe. Let me check here.
Right.
2022, he's a free agent, and Kareem Hunt is a free agent after this season. Now, and all the news outlets, nothing has come up about contract talks between Kareem Hunt and the Browns. This leads me to believe that the Browns, with an offensive-minded OC that literally only uses one running back, will only sign one running back when the time comes. So, do I think that the Browns go ahead and sign Kareem Hunt next year when he becomes a free agent? No, I don't think they do. I think they have a lot of money, and after playing in that competitive division with the Steelers and the Ravens and even the Bengals this year, they're going to be below 500 again, and they're going to realize, wait a second, we don't have a winning team. We've signed a ton of guys to come in and help. We're still not winning games, and they're going to take that money and they're going to spread it out. They're going to move it to the defense. They're going to possibly move it to the quarterback position. Who knows? But they're going to do something with it. They're not going to win games. And I don't think that the Browns' main priority is going to be to have two top 10 running backs in the NFL. So I can't say this based off of any stats. This is a pure guesstimation here, if you want to call it that. But all the stats do show that Kareem Hunt is valued in that offense. But with a new OC this year, contract year coming up for Kareem Hunt, I don't know. Does it make sense that the Browns sign two running backs to top-notch dollars? No, it doesn't make sense. I don't think any team in the league has done that or will do that where two running backs are getting paid a lot of money like that. And for the record, Kareem Hunt per year is still making more than Nick Chubb right now. Obviously, that's because Nick Chubb is on his rookie contract. But I don't think that when the time comes, they're going to have two running backs paid like that. So I think that with all this being said, my guesstimation is that the Browns realize that their team sucks again in 2020, and they're going to take one of their most valuable assets, which is Kareem Hunt, running back / wide receiver, and I think they trade him before his contract is up and get the most out of him while they can in this season. So that's my guesstimation. If they did play 16 games, then Zach, I could hear you out. I definitely could hear you out on why Kareem Hunt would be the guy to own in that backfield. But all right, with all that's been said, though, you got one side that is full of stats on Zach's side. You can't argue stats, can't do it. And then you got my side that is just looking for smaller things that are playing out, and I'm making a guesstimation. So now it comes down to Kyle. Kyle, where do you on this whole entire thing?
Right in the middle. I think we'll have a 2018 New Orleans Saints situation where both running backs in that backfield will be top 10. Do I see that really happening? No, but I damn sure that there's a possibility. I think Kareem Hunt just runs that backfield. He controls the air, and he's got the receiving package.
Now, but let's not forget what happened after that 1 year that those two top backs were together, and the Saints got rid of Ingram because they realized that they couldn't pay both backs. Just saying. Just had to put that out there. But
yeah, if it's PPR, I think Kareem Hunt is an incredible value. He could be outstanding. But on the other hand, I think Nick Chubb is one of the best running backs in the league on pure rushing ability. Mike, you mentioned the stats. I think you both mentioned the stats within close to the end zone, and how Nick Chubb was top 5 in rushing stats for rushing attempts closer to the end zone, and how he couldn't score. But I don't think those rushing attempts disappear. I think he keeps them because when Kareem Hunt returned to the team, he actually had more rushing attempts inside the 10 than he did previously in the beginning of the season. So I think Chubb maintains that control. And I think he regresses to the mean and has a lot more touchdowns because that opportunity is there. But I think you both made great points. I think they'll both be great backs. I can't choose between them both. I would actually be happy to have both Cleveland running backs on my team this year.
Oh, definitely. Now I believe that the ADP for Nick Chubb is right around one in a 12-team league, right around like 1.12, maybe second round right now. Does anybody know off the top of their head where Kareem Hunt is being drafted right now?
Mid-sixth.
Yes, he's going right smack in the middle of the 6th round.
Right. And now Kareem Hunt, if you take his stats from 2019 and you did it and averaged it out to see if he played a full 16, I think that ADP is way too low. I think he should be drafted a lot higher than that. So I definitely hear you out on that one. Kareem Hunt is great value for where he is going currently. But that's if this whole situation stays together. And I guess that's what I'm basing my argument off of is I really don't think that this is going to be a year-long thing. I think contract year coming up, he's going to want money. He's a great back. He's going to deserve it. And I think the Browns aren't going to be the team to give it to him. I think the Browns get rid of him and get the assets they can while he's still on the team and under contract. So I guess we'll see.
Mike, that's a really good point. I just have one point, and then I want to ask you guys a question, and then I'll let Kyle wrap it up. But Mike, with you saying that you think they're going to trade him, with this COVID season, this lack of preseason, it's weird. It's a really weird season, and God forbid it happens, and I hate even the thought of it. But I think we're going to see injuries this year, and I think that at the running back, there's a lot of wear and tear. And someone might have the need for Kareem Hunt, and they might seek out the Browns because he is a starting running back playing a backup role right now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen either. But I'm still holding to my point that Kareem Hunt is going to eat into that value of Nick Chubb. One more thing that just popped into my head. Format matters in this argument, I think, too. I think that this argument exists in PPR. I think in a standard, are we arguing this at all?
Yeah.
No. It's pretty heavily Nick Chubb. It's a no-brainer. So that brings me to my question then. At their current ADPs, I just looked up Nick Chubb. I have him right about where you said, Mike. I have him at on your site, whatever you pick, 112, 203, somewhere in that range, somewhere between the last pick of the first round and the first couple picks of the second round. At that ADP for Nick Chubb or at the 606 for Kareem Hunt, which do you guys feel better paying for?
Right now, definitely the 6.06, without a doubt. The PPR value is just insane. So PPR or ADP-wise, definitely Kareem Hunt, definitely.
Yeah, I think that value for Kareem in the 6th is insane. There's a couple mocks that I've done where he's been my RB2, and he's that late. He's the happiest I can be with somebody in that range as my starting running back.
Definitely.
But at the same time, if I'm sitting late first round and I want a running back and I'm taking Chubb, I'm happy. I'm more than happy. I think volume is there. He's not losing any of that.
Right. I don't think anyone's going to complain to get Chubb at the end of their draft. It doesn't feel like you're taking a discount or anything like that, or you're taking a slight. I like that. And like you said, Kyle, I think that being able to slot Kareem Hunt into your RB2 role, it feels good. It might afford you the opportunity to take Kelsey or Kittle, or even if you want to go the route of Mahomes or Lamar Jackson early, it affords you that opportunity, which is nice. And I think that that's a luxury that maybe it's something to experiment with this year. I know I'm going to do some mocks right after we get off and see how much I like it. And if it fits, it ships. So that's all I got for Hunt and Chubb. Mike, you got anything else?
Yeah, one thing. As we're talking about this, I'm thinking now, if the Browns did not have Nick Chubb, where would Kareem Hunt be being drafted right now in PPR leagues? In PPR?
Oh, even higher. I think he would be mid first.
All right, we'll play a game real quick. Here we go. All right, you guys tell me stop. Price is Right rules. You tell me stop, I can't go over. All right, so tell me when it's too expensive. Christian McCaffrey. I think we're all going to take McCaffrey.
Mhm.
Saquon Barkley.
Barkley.
Yeah. What?
Zeke.
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 Kamara.
Kamara.
That's me. That's me right there.
Is it? Interesting. That's pretty high.
Yeah. I still know that Latavius Murray is involved there, and that would be it for me.
So you'd have him slotted in at RB4 then.
I would say no to Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry I would still take over him, but that 4-5 range, I think that's my limit. I think that's where Kareem Hunt would go for me.
All right, and Kyle, let me keep going. Let me test the waters with you. All right. Next, we have Michael Thomas.
Thomas.
Cook. Dalvin Cook.
Cook.
Derrick Henry.
In PPR, I think this is my stop.
Okay, so
I think
Kareem Hunt. Okay.
Yep.
All right, because I think after there it gets pretty simple. Joe Mixon, I think we'd all take Hunt over Mixon, over Sanders, Miles Sanders, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, Kenyon Drake, Nick Chubb. So I think that's a pretty safe spot. I think he slots in somewhere in that middle of the first round.
But again, that's with being the lone back in a happy PPR league.
Right. Right.
That's the only play. The only time I take Kareem Hunt in the first.
Yeah, definitely not now.
Quick hypothetical for you guys. So now, obviously, my argument today was based off of that I don't think that he's going to be around for the full season. And even if he was, I'm still leaning towards Chubb. But let's say that Kareem Hunt does go somewhere this year. One team from both of you, possible landing spots for Kareem Hunt.
Ooh, this is a tricky one. Kyle, do you have any that immediately come to mind?
For some reason, Seattle comes to mind.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chris Carson's their guy, but they've never fully committed to him. It's every year. It's like, oh, this is Rashad Penny's year. Every year, it's like, oh, Chris Carson. They're not. I don't think they're happy with him, but they never really. They keep committing to him, but I think dark horse Seattle for Kareem Hunt.
I think that's a great spot. Hear me out. Buffalo. I could see him ending up in Buffalo. I think if the Bills try out the Singletary thing and he's just too small or he gets run down, he's shown a little injury proneness. So, I think if that doesn't work out and if Zach Moss might not be ready this year. So maybe they go out and get Kareem Hunt because I think we can all agree if there's any year that they have the door open to win that division, it's this year, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they make the play, maybe they go for it. That's going to be my pick.
Mm-hmm. All right.
What about you, Mike? You have anywhere?
Off the top of my head, I think as long as Adrian Peterson stays healthy, I think that would fine. But maybe the Redskins, maybe AP never asking for this, but maybe he gets hurt or some injuries hit that backfield. That could be a possible landing spot. And I would think that's the only team off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's a few. I think if you took every back in the league and compared them, I think Kareem Hunt is still in the, I would say, without coming up with a complete list, I would say top 15. I'd say he's still a top 15 back in the NFL. So that wraps up my side. Zach, do you have anything else to add or?
No. I think that this was a good discussion. I think it needs to be had. I think that Chubb and Hunt, there's a lot of value between the two of them. And,
definitely.
if the Browns are good, if they're not, I think that there's a lot of fantasy talent to be had on that team, and especially in the backfield. So.
All right. Kyle, any last?
That wraps up. Nothing from here, but I think you guys did not sell me on either of them because I was already sold. I think that wraps that up. I think you guys did very good.
All right,
did good, boys.
This video will be posted on later in the week. We'll let you guys decide. Let us know who are you leaning towards this year. But all right, until next time.
Peace.